Ladies and gentlemen, if you're sitting here wondering how to grow your income without adding another 20 hours to your week, this message is for you, because we have to stop believing that working harder is the only path to success. We need to start working smarter, and that begins with building income streams that don't rely on our constant presence. That's what passive income is really about, not laziness, not magic, but systems that give you your time back while still producing value. Now listen, I know what it feels like to think, where do I even start? We hear all these terms, affiliate links, real estate, digital downloads, and it gets overwhelming, but here's the truth, you don't need to master everything. You need to pick something aligned with your skills, your resources, and your goals, and build from there. One of the fastest, simplest ways to begin is with digital products. You already know something that someone else needs. Package it, sell it, automate delivery. That's not theory. It's leverage, and then there's investing. I'm not talking about high-risk gambling with your savings. I'm talking about dividend stocks, index funds, rental properties, assets that create monthly cash flow without your full-time involvement. This is how wealth is built in the background while you focus on growing your impact. But here's the part most people miss. Systems matter more than ideas. You could have the best business model in the world, but if you're doing everything yourself, it's not passive. Automate, delegate. Use tools, get out of the weeds, and finally, this is critical. Stop waiting to feel ready. You won't. You don't need the perfect website, the best gear, or 10 certifications. You need a decision, one action. One product, one investment, and then momentum takes over. Ladies and gentlemen, passive income is not a trend. It's a mindset shift. It's a choice to prioritize your freedom. It's the discipline to build now so you can live differently later. So what will you start building today? Because the sooner you begin, the sooner your life starts changing. Stop trading time for money. It's a phrase we hear often, but very few people actually internalize what it means or how profoundly it impacts the way we live and work. For most of us, the default path we're taught from a young age is simple. Go to school, get a job, work hard, and climb the ladder. That path assumes your income is directly tied to the number of hours you work. It assumes that your value is calculated by your time, not by your ideas, your impact, or the systems you can build. But let me be clear, this mindset is the ceiling on your growth. If you are constantly trading your hours for a paycheck, you are capped. You could be the smartest person in the room, the hardest worker, the most reliable, but your income will always be constrained by one thing, time, and time is finite. You only have 24 hours in a day. You sleep for 8, you commute, you eat, you rest, you spend time with loved ones, and then what's left? A few hours to actually build something bigger. That's not a growth strategy, that's survival. The truth is, the world has changed, the economy has changed, and more than ever, we have access to tools, platforms, and opportunities that allow us to multiply our impact and our income without multiplying our hours. That's the foundation of passive income. It doesn't mean no work. It means work once, earn repeatedly. It means shifting from being a technician in your own life to becoming the architect. It means building assets that continue to deliver value whether you show up or not. Let's get practical. Think about the highest paid people in the world. They're not paid hourly. They're paid based on the value of their ideas, their ownership, or the systems they've created. Jeff Bezos isn't packing boxes. Oprah isn't producing every podcast. They built something once and then leveraged it. They created brands, teams, platforms, and assets that work for them. You don't need to be a billionaire to apply the same principle. You can create a digital course that teaches a skill you already know. You build it once, set up automated emails and a payment system, and now that course can be sold 100 times without you touching it again. That's no longer trading time for money. That's building a machine that generates revenue with or without your daily involvement. Or maybe it's investing in Dividend, producing stocks or rental real estate. When you buy the right asset, it pays you consistently just for owning it. You didn't clock in, you didn't send an invoice, you simply positioned your money to work harder than you do. That's the mindset shift. Passive income allows you to step into your role as a strategist, not just an executor. And the difference between those two roles is freedom. The resistance most people feel when they hear this is rooted in comfort. Trading time for money is familiar. It feels predictable. You show up, you get paid, but the cost is high. You lose flexibility. You lose control. You can't scale your income without sacrificing your well-being. And worst of all, if something happens, if you get sick, if you take a break, if you want to be present for your family, your income stops. That's not just unsustainable, it's risky. Now, I want to be honest. Building passive income is not instant. It requires effort upfront. It takes learning, testing, failing, and refining. But the effort compounds. It pays you back long after the initial work is done. And more importantly, it gives you the power to design your life intentionally. You stop living by someone else's schedule. You stop being reactive. You start building a foundation that can support your goals, your values, and your version of success. I work with a lot of high achievers, people who are talented, driven, and exhausted. They're trying to do everything themselves, thinking that being busy means being productive. But busy doesn't mean progress, and being stuck in the cycle of trading time for money is the fastest way to burn out. I always tell them your time is your most expensive asset. Treat it like that, protect it, invest it, and don't give it away to anyone or anything that doesn't move you forward. If you want more income, more options, more freedom, the path is not working more hours. The path is building systems, it's creating leverage, it's making the choice to prioritize long-term sustainability over short-term certainty, and that requires you to ask better questions. Instead of asking, how can I make more money this month? Ask, what can I build this month that will make me money every month after? That one question can change everything. You are capable of so much more than just surviving your schedule. You are capable of building a life where your value isn't confined to the hours you put in. The future belongs to those who understand this shift, who stop measuring success by how busy they are and start measuring it by how smart, scalable, and strategic they've become. Stop trading time for money. Start trading vision for freedom. That's how you build a life that works for you. Digital products are scalable assets. That means they're built once and sold endlessly, without requiring you to be physically present every time money is exchanged. If you're serious about creating passive income, this is one of the most accessible and powerful places to start. The beauty of digital products is that they're not limited by location, inventory, or even time zones. You could be sleeping in Los Angeles while someone in London purchases your guide, your template, your course, or your training. That's not a fantasy, it's leverage, and in today's economy, leverage is everything. We live in a time where your knowledge and experience can be packaged into something that solves a specific problem and delivered instantly to someone who needs it. That could be a downloadable budget spreadsheet for new graduates, a meal prepping guide for busy parents, a beginner's photography course, or a digital planner for small business owners. You don't need to be a best-selling author or a global expert. You just need to be a few steps ahead of the person you're trying to serve. That's all it takes to offer value. What makes digital products so powerful is their scalability. Traditional business models, whether it's one coaching, consulting, or freelancing, require your direct involvement every single time you deliver value. But with a digital product, once it's created, it becomes a system. You can sell it to 10 people, 100 people, or 10, 0 people with almost the same amount of effort on your end. That's not just income, that's exponential growth potential. It's the kind of business model that doesn't penalize you for taking a vacation or prioritizing your health or spending time with your family. Most people think the hardest part is coming up with the product. It's not. The hardest part is actually giving yourself permission to share what you know and to stop underestimating the value of your experience. People are paying for clarity. They are paying for simplicity. They are paying for the ability to avoid mistakes. If you can save someone time, shorten their learning curve, or help them achieve a result faster, you have something worth selling. You don't need to be revolutionary. You need to be useful. Another incredible thing about digital products is the low overhead. You don't need a warehouse, you don't need shipping, you don't even need a huge team. You need a good idea, a clear audience, a simple offer, and a system to deliver it. Platforms like Gumroad, Teachable, Kajabi, or even Etsy make it incredibly easy to host and sell your digital creations. With a simple landing page, a few email automations, and a clear call to action, you've built a mini business that works whether you're logged in or not. Of course, not every product will be a hit. That's part of the game, but the real advantage is that you can test fast and adjust quickly. You can launch a $10 guide in a weekend, gather feedback, iterate, and relaunch. You're not risking thousands in manufacturing. You're not bound to a storefront. You're in full control of your message, your price point, and your delivery. And that kind of agility is what allows people to grow from a side hustle to a full-time, scalable brand. And when your digital product is paired with smart marketing systems, email lists, lead magnets, social proof, content strategy, it becomes something even more powerful. It becomes automated. That means new leads are finding you while you're doing other things. That means customers are discovering your value while you're resting. That means income starts to feel like a natural byproduct of the work you've already done, not something you have to grind for every single day. But none of this works if you don't take action. That's where most people get stuck. They overthink, overedit, and overplan. What you need is to launch, not later, now. Your first product won't be perfect, and it doesn't have to be. What matters is the momentum it creates. Every product teaches you something. Every launch brings clarity. Every customer helps refine your message. That process is what turns a simple idea into a consistent revenue stream. So if you're looking to grow income without growing stress, if you're ready to step out of the hours, $4 trap, if you're committed to building something that supports your life instead of consuming it, start with a digital product. You already have the knowledge, you already have the tools. The only thing missing is your decision to build, because once you build it, once you automate it, once you refine it, something amazing happens. You start earning while living. You stop worrying about the next paycheck. You start creating options, and the income you generate isn't just money, it's time, it's freedom, it's proof that your value isn't tied to your schedule. That's the power of scalable digital products. That's the beginning of financial independence. Investing is not optional, it's a strategy. For anyone serious about building long-term wealth or achieving financial freedom, investing is not just a nice idea or something reserved for Wall Street experts. It's a non-negotiable. It's the difference between working for money your entire life and having your money work for you. And no, you don't need to be rich to start investing. You need to be intentional, informed, and consistent. The earlier you embrace that mindset, the sooner you begin to create real, sustainable passive income that doesn't require your time, your energy, or your daily involvement. People often misunderstand investing as something risky or complicated. And yes, it can be if you treat it like a gamble, but when you approach it as a strategy, one that aligns with your goals, your values, and your long-term vision, it becomes incredibly empowering. Investing is how you turn earned income into unearned income. It's how you build assets that pay you while you sleep, that grow while you work on other things, that increase in value as the economy evolves. It's about planting seeds now so that your future isn't dictated by your job or your ability to show up. There are many forms of investing, but the key is to understand that they all operate on the principle of leverage. Real estate, for example, is a powerful tool because you're able to use other people's money, whether it's a mortgage or rental income, to acquire and maintain an asset that increases in value and generates monthly cash flow. That's not theory. That's thousands of people who have bought one property, rented it out, and started receiving monthly income from day one. Over time, they build portfolios that not only provide income, but grow in equity, giving them more options, more freedom, and more security. Then there's the stock market. Dividend stocks are one of the most straightforward ways to earn passive income. You buy shares in a company, and that company pays you a portion of its profits on a regular basis. These are companies like Coca-Cola, Apple, Johnson & Johnson, businesses that have stood the test of time and reward shareholders just for holding their stock. When you consistently invest in dividend, paying stocks or index funds, you're slowly building a stream of income that requires no effort on your part once it's in place. Over time, as you reinvest those dividends, that income compounds. And compound growth is the eighth wonder of the world. It rewards patience. It builds wealth quietly. You can also explore more modern or creative forms of investment like REITs, real estate investment trusts, peer-to-peer lending platforms, or even investing in small businesses. The method doesn't matter as much as the mindset. The point is to stop spending all your energy trying to earn every dollar with labor and start creating systems where your money multiplies without your constant involvement. That is what separates the financially stuck from the financially free. Now, let's address a common objection. I don't have enough money to invest. That belief is one of the biggest roadblocks for people. But it's just not true. You can start with $50 a month. You can start by reading a book, opening a brokerage account, or contributing to a retirement plan. You can start by learning. Every small step you take toward investing is a step away from financial dependence. What matters most is consistency. Regular investing, even in small amounts, beats occasional lump sums. Time in the market beats timing the market. The person who starts today, even with limited resources, is already ahead of the person who waits until everything is perfect. Investing is also about protecting your future self. Life happens, jobs change, markets shift, but when you have a portfolio of income-generating assets, you're not as vulnerable. You're not constantly stressed about what happens if you miss a paycheck or want to take time off. Investing gives you options, it gives you breathing room, and that freedom can be more valuable than any salary increase or promotion. It's not about getting rich overnight, it's about getting stable over time. Financial stability gives you the power to say yes to opportunities and no to obligations that don't serve you. The sooner you start seeing investing as a strategy, the sooner you start making decisions like someone building a legacy, not just someone trying to get by. That shift is everything. When you start treating your money like a team member, someone with a job to do, you stop wasting it on things that don't move you forward. You start thinking in terms of ROI. You start asking better questions. How can I make this dollar work for me? How can I turn this savings into cash flow? How can I grow this asset over time? The goal isn't just to invest. The goal is to become an investor. Someone who understands risk, evaluates opportunity, and takes action consistently. Someone who isn't working just to survive the month, but to build a life of choice. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to know everything. But you do need to start, because investing is not just about money. It's about freedom, and if that's something you want, then investing isn't optional. It's essential. Automation is the new assistant. In the world we live in today, time is no longer the most valuable currency ***, attention and focus *** are. When you're building income streams that are designed to scale without constant effort, automation becomes the secret weapon. It's what separates people who are always busy from those who are intentionally productive. It's what allows a solopreneur to operate like a small team or a side hustler to scale like a business. And in the realm of passive income, automation isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Think about how most people work. They spend hours on repetitive tasks, answering the same emails, posting the same social media updates, sending follow-up messages, tracking orders, or even managing calendars. These aren't high-level tasks. They don't require unique genius, and yet they take up enormous amounts of energy and time. This is where automation steps in, not to replace you, but to replicate the things you don't need to do manually anymore. Let's get practical. If you sell digital products, you should not be manually sending files to every customer. That's a broken system. Instead, use an automated checkout process and delivery platform like Gumroad, Payhip, or Shopify. You set it up once, and from that moment forward, your product gets delivered instantly the moment someone makes a purchase. No delays, no extra steps. That is automation doing work for you 24/7. The same goes for email marketing. If someone joins your list, they should receive a welcome sequence automatically, one that's thoughtfully written, provides value, and starts building a relationship. You shouldn't be typing a fresh response every single time. With tools like ConvertKit, MailerLite, or ActiveCampaign, you can set up entire workflows, nurture emails, product recommendations, reminders, upsells, and even re-engagement campaigns. Done right, your email system becomes a full-time employee that never sleeps and never misses a beat. Another example is customer support. You can use tools like chatbots, FAQ automation, or help desk software like Zendesk or Freshdesk. The most common questions, refund policies, download issues, account help, can be answered automatically without you lifting a finger. That means fewer interruptions and happier customers because they get what they need instantly. Automation also plays a huge role in social media. You no longer have to post every day in real time. Use scheduling tools like Buffer, Later, or Hootsuite. Batch your content once a week or once a month, schedule it, and let it go out on autopilot. You stay visible, consistent, and top of mind without constantly being glued to your phone. This is how businesses scale their brand presence without hiring a full-time content team. But automation isn't just about software, it's about systems thinking. It's about asking yourself, what tasks am I doing over and over again that don't actually require *me*? Maybe it's sending contracts or invoices. Maybe it's onboarding new clients. Maybe it's organizing files or setting up meetings. If a task is predictable, recurring, and rules-based, it can be automated, and every time you automate a process, you buy back a piece of your life. You create space to focus on the things that really matter: innovation, strategy, relationships, creativity, and let's be clear, automation doesn't remove the human element. In fact, it enhances it. Because when you automate the routine, you free up energy for the exceptional. You're not bogged down in busy work. You're able to show up more fully, more intentionally, and more consistently in the areas where your presence truly makes a difference. Whether that's connecting with your audience on a live webinar, brainstorming your next big product, or spending quality time with your family, automation gives you margin. Now, the objection people often have is that setting up automation takes time. That's true, but it's time invested, not time wasted. Think of it like building a machine. It might take a few hours or days to put together, but once it's running, it keeps producing value without needing your attention. That's not lost time, that's front-loading effort for long-term gain, and if you're building a business or a side income that you want to last, this is the most strategic time you can spend. Another common fear is that automation makes things feel cold or robotic. But that's only true if you use it without intention. Great automation feels personal. A well-crafted onboarding sequence, a friendly reminder email, a customized thank you page. These touchpoints can be designed to feel thoughtful, even if they're triggered by a system. When done right, automation increases your customer satisfaction because it reduces wait times, adds consistency, and ensures that nothing falls through the cracks. If you want to grow a business that works even when you take a day off or a week off, automation is your best partner. It helps you scale without burnout. It allows you to operate at a higher level without working longer hours. It gives you the infrastructure to serve more people, generate more revenue, and do it all with less effort over time. Automation is no longer a high-tech luxury. It's a basic part of doing business in a scalable, sustainable way. If you want freedom, flexibility, and income that doesn't rely on constant hustle, then automation is your best hire. It works weekends, it doesn't take breaks, and most importantly, it gives you back control of your time. That's what real leverage looks like, and that's what passive income truly requires. Community is the hidden multiplier of every passive income idea you've ever considered. Most people think of income streams in isolation. A digital product here, a real estate investment there, a bit of affiliate marketing sprinkled on top. But what they often overlook is how connection and trust, when intentionally cultivated, can dramatically amplify every single one of those revenue channels. You don't just want customers, you want a community. You don't just want attention, you want engagement. When you have a community, you have loyalty, and loyalty leads to repeat income, referrals, and a sense of stability that money alone can't buy. People want to buy from people they trust. And in today's digital economy, trust is built through shared experiences, real conversations, and authentic presence. It's built in comments, in stories, in behind the scenes moments. When you're trying to grow passive income, it's tempting to hide behind automation or chase one-time sales. But the truth is that the highest leveraged passive income often comes from the most engaged communities. Why? Because those communities become your ambassadors. They recommend your products, share your content, give you feedback, and champion your brand without being asked. Let's say you create a $49 online course. You can either sell that to strangers through cold ads and hope they convert, or you can build a community that trusts you, values your content, and feels personally connected to your mission. Guess what happens when that community sees your course launch? They buy it, they talk about it, they email you with questions, they leave reviews, they post about it. Suddenly, one sale turns into 10, 10 into 50. Not because you changed your product, but because you built a foundation of trust. Community also creates long-term sustainability. Anyone can make a quick buck with a clever marketing funnel. But building an income stream that lasts 5 or 10 years, that's about relationships. It's about showing up, listening to your audience, asking them what they want, and then creating it. When people feel seen and heard, they stick around. They evolve with you, and they're far more likely to support your next offer, your next launch, your next experiment, because they're not just buying what you're selling, they're buying into **. Even something as transactional as affiliate marketing benefits massively from community. If you're recommending products to an audience that knows you, likes you, and trusts your judgment, your conversion rates will skyrocket, because it doesn't feel like a sales pitch, it feels like a recommendation from a friend. That emotional connection is what separates noise from influence, and influence, when combined with automation and intention, becomes one of the most powerful drivers of passive income available. Community also provides an endless well of insight. If you're not sure what digital product to launch next, your community will tell you. If you're uncertain about your pricing or messaging, your audience will reflect back what resonates. They're not just consumers, they're collaborators. And when you co-create with your community, your offers land more effectively. You avoid the trap of building in a vacuum. You stop guessing and start responding. That responsiveness makes you agile. It makes your business resilient, and it makes your income streams far more consistent. Now, community doesn't always mean a massive audience. You don't need 100 followers to have a community. You need 100 people who care, who listen, who engage, who stick around, and you cultivate that by showing up, not just as a brand, but as a human being. You share your journey, you invite feedback, you celebrate wins and acknowledge mistakes. You make space for real conversation. It's slower than the fast funnel model, but it's deeper, and deep builds last. Technology makes this easier than ever. Platforms like Facebook groups, Discord servers, private Slack channels, or even email newsletters allow you to create intimate spaces where people feel connected. And when they feel connected, they contribute. They start answering each other's questions. They start sharing resources. They become a part of the value, not just recipients of it. That's when the magic happens, when your business becomes more than a transaction. It becomes a movement. If you're building income streams in 2025 and beyond, ignore the hype around algorithms and short-term hacks. Focus on community, because community compounds. Every time you nurture your audience, respond to a comment, highlight a customer success story, or share a personal insight, you're investing in something bigger than a launch. You're investing in a network of people who will support you long after the initial sale. And here's the beautiful part. Community is itself a source of passive income. Once you've built trust, every new offer has an audience, every launch has momentum, every piece of content has reach. You don't start from scratch. You start from strength, you stop pushing and you start attracting, and that shift, from chasing sales to cultivating connection, is where the deepest, most fulfilling forms of passive income begin. So if you're looking to make your income streams more consistent, more impactful, and more aligned with who you really are, don't just build products, build people. Don't just grow lists, grow relationships. Because when you build a community, you're not just building income, you're building influence, legacy, and freedom that goes far beyond what's in your bank account.